Hello, 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 hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Don't delay. Come on in right now. Come on in right now. Yes, we are so excited to have you all in today. Come on in. Come on in. Excited about today. Today, we're doing a bonus segment of the best investment. So I'm so glad to have you here. Hello, Lady
Hi.
K Curtis. Hi! Look at how we did it. Look at God. Here on time and
We're
early. I'm so
freezing.
excited. Okay, we're going to work with it.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. All right, so we have folks coming in. I'm so excited to do this bonus segment of the best investment. Before we get started, my name is Mona-Lee Belizaire, and I am a personal growth strategist. I specifically focus on working with young adult women who are struggling with direction, help them to move from where they are to where they want to be. I am also the creator of the I Am Choosing Me movement. So that is a movement that I developed to just really encourage women to choose themselves in every area of their lives. I was getting a call. Today we're doing the best. Oh, no. Sorry about that. Was not prepared. But anyways, today we are doing the best investment, and we're talking about how women can choose themselves in marriage and in motherhood. And I am so excited to have Lady K Curtis with us today. I affectionately call her Lady K because I have known her since we were in college, and I'm so excited to have her here today. This is such a treat. If you don't have your pen or your paper, you better grab some pen and some paper. I know the nuggets are going to be great. She is a phenomenal woman of God. She is a wife and a mom, and I know that the nuggets are just going to be awesome. So, Lady K, tell the people who you are. Let us know about you
Hello,
and who you are.
Instagram. This is my first time being live on Instagram. Hello, family.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Curtis. I am married to an amazing, fine, handsome, sexy man named Natron Curtis. We have been married for 25 long. Like I'm 30, but God has been good. But we have
Yes,
been
he
married for
has.
25 long years. I'm so excited that I am the mom biologically of 4 beautiful children, but I am also a pastor's wife. So I have many, many, many children. Throughout the years, I have mothered many of you, and we are so grateful and so excited to be a part of this movement with Mona. I am choosing me. I absolutely love it, Mona. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to get right into the meat of the conversation. So, Lady K, talk to me.
Yes,
You are a first lady. You have been
yes.
around many women in various areas of your life. What are some of the challenges that women experience in terms of not being able to choose themselves? Why do you think it's hard for women to choose themselves, especially in the space of marriage and motherhood?
Oh my God. That's a great question. I have been a mother of 4. My oldest is almost 25 this year. I think we're just cultured for it. We're trained to be that way. If you go to church, wherever you are, they teach you to put others before yourself. It's just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
naturally nurturing. We just it's That's just who we are. So it becomes hard and it becomes selfish when you have somebody telling you you're being selfish because you took time out of your day to be sure that you're okay. And you kind of feel it just automatically for being a mom and a wife, for taking time out for
Right.
yourself. You feel that guilt of being selfish just automatically. I don't know why it is, but we're just wired that way. And it's
Right, cultured and trained.
yes,
Cultured and trained. I like that you said cultured and trained. I
yes.
want to dig a little bit deeper into that. So
Mhm.
I can figure out the trained part, right? Because as a wife and a mom myself, I did specifically what I saw my mom
Right.
doing. So that was probably like the trained part and the cultured. But
Mhm.
talk to me a little bit more about cultured and trained. What exactly does that look like?
Yes, when we're little girls, what do they buy us? Baby dolls, kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and when you're in the kitchen, sometimes you're trained to fix your husband plate first. You're trained to fix your
Mm.
plate first. You're always last on the agenda. That's just what we're. That's what I mean about cultured and trained. I mean, you know how you go to the store. You're looking at the kids for something for the children. You're looking at something for.
Yes.
I mean, cultured and trained, girl. Just cultured and trained everywhere.
Cultured and trained. And so and it's so funny you mentioned the fixing the plate because Jesus helped me with that one because, honey, that was a stretch. But even with that, I think, somewhere along the line, someone decided that that was a thing. And it's not to say that, you don't love your spouse or you won't take care of them, but
Right,
that was a thing that someone told you that you needed to serve them first. And so ultimately you feel like you need to serve yourself last. But one of the things that I have found, even just going through this myself and choosing me as an individual, as Mona-Lee, because I am Mona-Lee first before I am any other title,
right,
right? Me choosing myself does not have to be at the expense of being a wife and being a mom. I can do all of that. I
right.
can still be effective in being a wife and being a mom, and I can still choose myself in the process. So, why I want to talk more about that. And for those of us who are Christians, or even not, most of the times, we're taught that our family is our first ministry, right?
Right.
And when you think about your family being your first ministry, automatically you go into, okay, well, I do stuff for them first before I even do myself. How do we find a balance, or what does the balance look like between your family being your first ministry and choosing yourself in marriage and motherhood?
That's so good, Mona. I got a secret to tell y'all. It's not
Woo!
really a secret. I know you better lean in for this one. There is no balance. There's no balance because our first priority should be to please God. You know, it's our
Mm-hmm.
relationship to God, and my family and me being a wife is a part of that. So it comes out of that. It's nothing that's
Yes.
separate. And that's where the overwhelmness comes in. That's where, the tiredness comes in because I'm trying to be all these different things to these different things.
Right.
And that's not how it's designed for us to be. My priority is to God. That comes from him. And then what he puts in me comes out to my family, to my husband, to my friends, to me.
Right.
And so we become discouraged and disappointed when we're not making these people happy because we're trying to be something that we have not tied to our source to be from the beginning. So that all of that comes out of me and my relationship. And if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go to the Well GMV and talk, and you can see Pastor talking about pleasing God on today. And that's where our connection to the source needs to be first.
Right.
First,
Exactly.
yes. And then that my confidence in God, what his will is for my life, what his plan is for my life, that springs out into my motherhood, that comes out in my wifehood, that comes out in my being, my self-being. So yes, girl. So we own it today, girl. Ooh, y'all, I like somebody put up some fire. Yo, it's hot in here. It's hot in here.
Exactly.
On it
No, and I like what you said. It's
today.
really it's out of the abundance, right? So it's when we position ourselves and position our relationship with God, then out of that abundance that he gives us, we are able to say, okay, well, I do this and I can do that. So I can do this with my family. I can do this as a wife. I can do this
Yes,
as a mom. I can do this as someone in my
yes,
community. But even in that, I know you said, Lady Kate, there is no balance. But
right.
in all of that, where do we fit in? Where do we as women, where do I fit in
Right.
all of that?
In the fullness of joy. And when you're full of the fullness of joy, it comes out. There's sometimes, but I just, anything that prohibits that relationship with God, it has to go. We just become so busy with the kids' schedule, busy with trying to make dinner, busy trying to, go to work, because some of us do still work, go to work, busy with this business. But like I was saying, we have to be sure we're including our family in our lives, in that fullness of joy that comes out again. And anything that we try to separate, because, this is my church family, this is my night family, these are my children, this is my husband. When we try to separate all like that, that's when we become overwhelmed. You trying to be all these, no, like you said, I am first Mona, I am first Kenyatta. And my priority is to please God. Then I flow out of that unto you and to others.
Absolutely. And then also ultimately to ourselves, because that's when we're in communion, or when we have that type of relationship with the Lord, then we are able to say, okay, you know what, this is overwhelming, or I need to figure out what has to go. Because a part of it too is we have to do practical things. So we have to sit down. On my live last week, we talked about START. I talked about taking an inventory of what we already have. We have to take an inventory of what we're doing, where our time is going, and I'll just put a shameless plug here, not shameless, and I'll put a plug here for next week for the best investment. We're going to be talking about time, and how you can prioritize your time, use your time, and give your time. So make sure you come back next week Thursday at 7:00.
Yes.
But it's really to talk about, for us to really think about, how are we using our time, and is our time being best used ultimately for ourselves? We always talk about, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I always say you can't pour from a half full cup either. You can't pour from that either. You have to be full. So that goes back into the fullness of joy that you talked about, because out of the fullness, then we have something to give to ourselves, and we ultimately have something to give to our family as well. So that is good. I really like that she said that.
We teach people how to treat us. So we have to teach them that our value, my priority is to God. I value God. I value myself. You will value my time. You teach them. You have to, as mothers and as wives, we are first teachers too. So not are you learning, but you are teaching them that mommy time is important. It's not me being selfish. I'm sorry, I need to go in the pantry and bite me a couple of bites of potato chips right now because you're getting on my nerves. I need this. Mommy need this. And you're going to give it to me because I'm setting those boundaries. And you're not teaching your children to be selfish, but you're teaching them how to pour out from a whole place. A person who is broken cannot pour into someone else who is broken.
Right. Exactly.
So that mommy time, that me time, that's very, very important.
Great. And I'm glad you touched on that. And especially for someone who's a mom, there are times, my son is a little bit older, but it's something that we have to train them. We have to, because they'll follow us everywhere. They'll follow you to the bathroom. Sometimes you can't go to the bathroom in peace. Even now, older, I'm like, can you wait until I get out?
Yes, it will. You'll be doing homework on the toilet, girl. You'll be doing homework on so they don't care. They don't they don't see anything. You're
taking a shower.
Yes.
And you talked about cultured and trained, because the image that came to my mind was when my son Nathaniel was first born, and we had a little, rocker thing. Obviously he's younger, and being a first time mom, I brought him everywhere with me. Right. And I'm in the shower, and he's right there in his little rocker thing, and I hear a noise, and I'm like, you pull back the curtain to see, and it's almost like
halfway in between your showers, the baby crying.
Right. That's that cultured and trained part. And so probably that's why now they don't know how to stay out of the bathroom when you're in there, and you're trying to do what you got to do, and they still in there. And I'm like, can I get some time? So I think it's important, as you mentioned, us setting those boundaries, right?
Healthy.
And boundaries is something that
you want to be sure they're healthy. Yeah, you have
Right.
boundaries. Yes.
Exactly. And I think boundaries is not something that we talk about, especially in marriage, because you have boundaries with your husband, that's your husband. Probably boundaries with your children is a little bit easier or palatable to swallow, but how do you create boundaries with your husband? How do you even say no? You don't say no to your husband.
Honey,
The old saints will
auntie.
tear you up. I remember one time, and I certainly love my husband dearly, but one time I was like, no, I just can't. I don't have the time. I don't I don't have the time. I can't do it right now. And most of the time, you probably will feel forced or feel like you have to do
Right.
it in that moment, in that space, because you'll feel bad. And so I want to touch on that a little bit. Since not talking about the boundaries, and I know that's not one of the
Right.
questions, but I think it's so good for us to talk about what how how do we create boundaries in those types of spaces where we may feel like we don't have boundaries or we're not supposed to have boundaries, and that's probably based on what the world has told us.
Right. And our natural human nature just does not like to hear the word no. I do not know why that is, but I tell you what, men don't like. They don't like the word no, and they don't like liars. So, like you were saying, no and not right now. They don't like it when you say, okay, not right now, but you don't give them a time when. And I
Mm-hmm.
like when you say not right now, and not right now never comes. So
Mm.
when you are setting your healthy boundaries, you want to be sure that you're not just trying to get out of it, never to do it again. But be sure you go back and you meet the man's needs. So if you're saying no, not right
Mm-hmm.
now, tomorrow night, I will be sure I take care of you or it, whatever the issue is. You want to be
Right.
sure that tomorrow night, that is what you are doing. Not just trying to get it, leave me alone right now, child. You'll never have no intentions of going back or meeting the need. So he
Right.
does not like the word no. So if no is the answer for you right now, because that's the best choice for right now, you just want to be sure you're communicating that in the way that you both understand. Okay, he like, okay, babe, I'm giving you a break. However, do not leave me hanging.
Right. Right.
So you want
Right.
to, communicate that, but also fulfill your obligations and whatever it is that it is in your relationship. We could say sex. I know we could say sex on here. We don't got no little bitty babies on here. I hope not. I know Mill's supposed to be joining, but she's almost 15, and I talk very, very direct to her, and she does understand.
Right.
So if
Exactly.
you're watching, I love you.
And I love what you
Yes.
said about being able to come back and say, you know what, not right now, but I'm willing to, in a few, or I just need a break right now, and I can't give you, or I can't pour out of me because I haven't been able to recharge. So let me recharge for a little bit. Let me rest. Let me get my mind together, and then we can go back to, whatever it is that we need to do, or I can, do whatever it is that you asked me to do, or even to say, is it something that you can get somebody else to do or help you with it?
Right.
Does it have to be me that helps you with it right now? Now, there's some things that not everybody can do, and there's some
Right.
things you don't want everybody to be
No, girl.
doing.
Yes,
Okay,
girl. Yes. You can't help me with that. You can't help
right?
me with that, people. No.
Exactly. You
But
can't
I
do
bet
that.
your husband would understand if every time you did that, he was his needs were met. He wouldn't have any problem when you said not right now or
Right.
the moment. But if you're saying it just to get out of it, to never to fulfill your promise, and he's
Mm,
as a pattern, you're gonna have problems. Like,
right.
it's
You
gonna be
will.
a problem. So you just want to be sure you're keeping your word, girl. And girl, put it on, girl. He ain't gonna remember that you said not right now.
That's good. I'm taking notes myself in my head so I can know how to position myself better too for that season. So I want to talk a little bit more about us choosing ourselves, and
Mhm.
specifically for you, Kenyatta. How do you choose yourself in marriage and motherhood? What does that look like for you? You've been married for 25 years
Mhm.
and you have 4 children. So you have been through it all, seen it all. You are first
Yes,
Kenyatta, you were Kenyatta Prim, right before you were even Kenyatta Curtis.
yes,
So you have
yes.
transitioned. You've had kids. you have four kids, your oldest is 20, so you've seen it all, and you've been, as a first lady, you've been around among women. But for you specifically, how have you chosen and continue to choose yourself in the marriage and motherhood space?
I haven't always been perfect. My marriage has not always been perfect. And I have learned some great nuggets along the way that I hope that you are picking up today and that you're learning. But let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you have to plan for it. Just like you put the kids' soccer game on your schedule, just like you put, you have another meeting to go to. Put that time for yourself on your calendar because it is important. It is very
Mm-hmm.
important. Put you on your calendar.
Yes.
Pencil you in, do things that you like, write your poems, all those things that we've given up as mothers and as wives, revisit them, see if those things you still like, put it in on the calendar. That's what I said. Plan for you as well. And it's not, again, not you being selfish, not you taking anything away from your family, but it's just making sure that you are coming from a whole place, you're staying whole. So that's all.
Exactly.
Plan for it. Plan for it. Yes. Put you on your calendar. Yes. I
Yep.
love it. Oh.
Put you on your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that's so important. And one of the things I think we've also been caught up in
Mm-hmm.
sometimes as women, and not to say that these things are they're not bad, but we always think that okay, it has to include getting your nails done or getting your hair done and all this stuff. But putting you on your calendar, specifically what you said, Lady K, is penciling rest time for you. Like for me specifically, I make it a point of duty. I get off the clock at 4:30, and I'm very serious about getting off at 4:30. So I try to make sure I get to work at 8 so I can get off at 4:30. But
Right.
between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, I don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I rest for that 30 minutes so that I can have some downtime from work, because the moment you just keep going, 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 you feel rushed, you feel hurried. Even when we were physically going into the building, when I came home, I took a 15 to 30 minutes break before I did anything, before I started a pot, before I did a homework. Whatever you have to do in that 15 to 30 minutes, you on your own. But
Yes.
for this 15 and 30 minutes, I need to just take a break. And sometimes we, as women, that's a part of choosing us, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily want to say self-care, because I feel like that's a word, it's a great word, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's a word that may have lost its flavor. And that's why I like to say choosing me, because it's specifically about me, and I'm thinking about, okay, how can I choose me? What is it that I need to do in this space? I need to rest. I've been diligent about going to bed. But if I'm tired, I go to bed. So whatever it is that I'm doing is gonna have to wait until the next day or the next morning or whatever, because I need to rest. So for you, Lady K, what are some things that you specifically do? You talk about putting yourself in your account. What do you do?
Oh, baby, the best time is the time of me doing nothing. I have scheduled vacations where I was just in the hotel room, just room service, nothing. I don't have
Mm,
an excursion to go on because, sometimes you go on a vacation, you have to try to do the excursions and all of that. And you need a vacation
yes.
from the vacation. I love to get facials. I love to get a massage. Like you said, getting your nails done. To me, that is not relaxation for me. I love a great
Mm,
movie, being under the cover, like, oh, my husband got me a great massage heat pad, honey, that I love to wrap around myself and watch me a great movie. Because of my life and who my husband is, we're always on the go, always on the go. At one time, I had four children that had to be at four different places. We had to be at soccer, we had to be at band, we had to be at karate, we had to be at ballet. It was always something to do, mostly for somebody else. But my greatest
mm-hmm.
I absolutely love is just time to myself. Admire you and like I said, put you on your calendar. Girl, you look good. Girl, you are amazing. Girl, where they get you from? Girl, where you come from? Girl, they broke the mold when they made you. Honey, you have to listen
Yes.
and encourage yourself. There's nobody like me. What sets you apart? What makes you stand out from everybody else? Girl, walk in the room on the 8 count. You have to walk, ooh, child, on it. You have to talk to yourself and let them know. Because when you walk in the room, you don't have to say nothing because you already been talking to yourself in the mirror and admiring you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I love to go to the beach. I don't always get in it, but I love to like listen to the waves. It just makes me reset and feel relaxed and just want to start over.
Right. And that's the thing, you found things. So
Yeah.
even in when you were in your busy season, you found things that really resonated for Kenyatta. And so I think one of the things that I know that I've shared with people when they get married, they always ask me, what's one thing that what advice that you would give? And one of the things that I always say is that make sure that you don't lose yourself in marriage and that you don't lose yourself in motherhood, because it's very easy for you to do that. Um, and I know sometimes, when you are single, you're like, oh no, never that, never me. I'm always about me. I'm always about myself, me, myself, and I, and all that. And you get into it, and you're like, okay, this needs to be done because it's a new season, it's a new experience. So you're not sure what does that look like. But I think, as you said, putting yourself on your calendar, making sure that you're finding time, resting, remembering what you liked to do before you became your new name or before you took on someone else's name, because you were a whole person before that. So what does that look like? You talked a little bit about, and I just want to go back there, you talked a little bit about when your kids were younger and they all had to be in 4 different places, and you still had ministry, and your husband obviously has his ministry that you supported. For moms who have younger kids, right? Because our kids are a little bit older, so we don't have those same chances, but we do remember. And you have 4, I have 1, so I don't really have anything. Right? You have 4 that you birthed and carried biologically.
Fertile girl, just fertile.
Fertile, right?
Don't touch me.
And we were pregnant at the same time too. That's the thing.
I was gonna share that and I forgot when you called us to share that you was pregnant. Oh my God, Pastor, y'all hear her little accent, but that day, baby, we got the full Jamaican accent, baby. Hold on, I'm pregnant, Pastor. Pastor, I'm pregnant.
Yes, I was home pregnant.
Yeah.
But you talked a little bit about having to shepherd all of them in different places, or everybody, there's so many moving parts. What did you do in that season to keep Kenyatta as Kenyatta?
Let me tell you, I learned early on that I had to put some time aside for myself because I think maybe it was around year 5, between year 5 and year 7, when I don't know if we're just striving for perfection or you see other moms with the minivans at that time. I remember seeing them with their sunglasses on and their soccer balls on the back of their minivans, and I'm like, ooh, I want to be just like her. And I think I just became overwhelmed with my schedule. At the time I was a first lady, I was a mom of 4, I was working at the time, and you just want everything to be perfect. And you walk in the house and you see the house a mess, and your blood start boiling because somebody forgot to put their dirty clothes in the laundry chute, and you just upset. I've learned then, I had to talk to a couple of my friends, and that's another thing. You got to have someone you can talk to. Mostly when I come across that stuff about we trying to compete and she's gonna talk about me. Well, girl, I told her that I had issues. Don't let your shame you. Don't let your shame shut you out. Don't let your shame shut you down. Don't let your shame shut you up. And I'm talking about, you may have had a baby out of wedlock. You may be pregnant by a married man. You got to stop the resentment and the criticism. And you need somebody to talk to.
Right.
So I was talking to my friend and I was seeing her do all of this, and she had a calendar. At that time, I didn't have a calendar. So you got to find what works for you. And I got that calendar, and I can have Nate and in basketball and Cam and band and Zai and karate and Millet ballet, because I had to learn how to organize. It's something I'm still learning to this day, because your life changes and your needs change as well.
Exactly.
Yes, you have to just really, really have somebody you can talk to and not be ashamed. But I don't care if you tell somebody, my husband cheated on me now, and I told you, because like again, my shame does not shut me up. I shared it with you in confidence. I'm so sorry that you had to tell somebody, but at that time I needed somebody to share it with, and it was you. And it's unfortunate that you had to go and tell the world. And even though
Exactly.
you're embarrassed by it at that time, don't let your shame shut you up, girl. Come on, just move on. And it's okay to fail as long as you're falling forward. It's okay. So with social media and so many things coming at us, we don't want to be shamed. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be, you know what? Pick it up and keep going. Let's go. We got this. We are great together. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing to get back up. I'm choosing to walk straight. I'm choosing a different path. Come on, Mom. You want me to preach today?
Preach. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it because I know you've been doing a phenomenal job every Sunday. So
Thank you.
it's a good time to slide it on in. And I think that a part of it too is, as you had mentioned, making sure that we are encouraging ourselves along the way and finding people, a community of people that we can rely on. One of the things that I always talk about is God gave us community, right? When He made Adam, He realized, okay, I need to create someone. I need to create a help me. I need to create someone, and I need to create community. I create community, create family. And it's important for us to make sure that we are a part of a community. We all have accountability partners. Like you said, people that we can talk to where we don't feel any shame, where we don't feel any kind of way about what's going on. We can talk about our feelings because most times when we're feeling that way, we just need to share it with someone. We may not feel that way for the whole entire time, but we need to share and we need to get godly wisdom and godly advice and people who are sound and people who are sane, that are not just going to be like, girl, do this and do that. But no, but they really understand or they've been there before.
I
They can.
would never do that. If it was me, I would never stay away from
Right.
it. You don't know what
And
you're
then it comes.
in it.
Right. It becomes something different. So I think that's great. We talked about finding time for yourself and making sure that you're having accountability partners, people that you can rely on, great friends. One of the things I wanted to transition into, so you and for those of us who have spouses or people that we live with, right? We also desire their support. So we want them to support us in what we are doing. So I want for you to share, how does your husband support you in choosing you? How has he over the years supported you in choosing yourself in marriage and in motherhood?
You know what? I have an amazing, amazing spouse. He is here now. He's the one who has these lights on because he is very techy. He is a very tech savvy person. He loves technology. But it wasn't always like that when we first got married. And that's why I always share, if you can, to wait until you marry someone to have children, even if you've been dating for a while, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, when you say I do, something changes. And so
Mm-hmm.
I got pregnant. My husband was jealous of our baby. I just got to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
He could not understand the transition from wife to mother. Early,
Mm-hmm.
I became pregnant right away, and so that along on our match with him, I was just being a newlywed. You my everything. You're first, and have this little person come to steal the show. This little person need me every time they cry. They need to be changed. I'm right there, and he just could not understand how this little person taking my time. We were very, very young. And so it had what I
How
was
young were you all when you got married and had Nate?
18. I was 18 years old. That's what I forgot to tell.
Okay.
And he was 20 years old. And here we were with the baby. By the way, my son called me from college when he was 18 and said, Mom, how in the world were you able to be my mom at the age of 18? I cannot see myself being no one's dad at this time. And baby, it was the grace of God and all his angels, because I needed every
The
last
wing
one
and a
of them.
prayer. Okay.
What I was trying to show you was my marriage has not always been my husband supporting me, but he is excellent. Like I said, those healthy conversations, setting those healthy boundaries. And let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
something. You have got to be a fool. Yes, I said a fool. If your wife makes more money and it's her season to shine, and you don't jump on board to turn on a light, honey, to make sure her makeup is on point, to zip that dress up in the back, baby, you better get those heels. and open that car door, because it's not competition. It's not competition. What it is it's just her season. Your season coming. Your season is coming. Or maybe it's her responsibility. It's just her time for her to shine. Baby,
Right, exactly.
I would have that bathwater ran for my wife, whatever we need to do. Because it's not competition. You guys are on the same team. You have to give people place to grow.
Yes.
Yes, it's her glow up. It's her time to grow. It's her time to shine. Let her shine. When it's your time to grow up, glow up, whatever they call it these days, it's your time to shine, and she should do the same thing. We on the same team, and that team is team win. We winning. We winning. Let's go.
No, I love it.
Setting those healthy boundaries, having those healthy conversations. It's not always pretty. It's not always easy. But just letting them know that you're there, whatever. And like my husband is here right now with me. I love it. He's absolutely wonderful.
Hey, PC.
Mona said, hey, PC.
Hey, Mona.
Awesome.
No, I love it. I love it. And it's the whole point is that, and it's the way how God designed it, right? So that we are supporting each other. Because if you're supporting him and he's supporting you, then there's no lack, there's nothing missing, there's nothing broken. First of all, obviously, individually, there's nothing missing, nothing broken because of your relationship with the Lord. But you also understand the call, you understand the purpose of marriage. You also understand the purpose of relationship. And so I think about it as you want to make sure that he's doing well, so he makes sure that you are doing well.
Right.
Because when you are doing that, you're more inclined to say, you know what, my baby did this for me, my husband did this for me, the person I love did this for me. I'm willing to do that. And you mentioned earlier about the value, someone valuing you, but you also valuing yourself. And how do we value ourselves as women allows us to show someone else how we're supposed to be valued. So, we don't sit down, I know you have three boys and one girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it probably was different when you were raising the three boys, and all of a sudden you had a girl come along, things sort of shifted. So you think about, how do you want things for your daughter? What do you want, how do you want your sons to treat other women as well too? And I think as moms, it's important for us, and as women, it's important for us to understand that how we treat ourselves, how we show up, our kids see those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a big difference for them. It's an imprint on their heart. Because I remember, when I think about things as it relates to being a wife and a mom, I think about my own mother. I think about my family. I think about my father, and I think about that space. And so I think it's important for us to make sure that we're showing up the way how we either want our kids to show up. They'll have their own lives and their own experiences, but we'd be fools to think that the family is the first foundation. This is what they see. It's at the home. It's home. So how do we want them to show up? Somebody asked the question: is marriage how you guys envision it would be when you are dating your partners during the boyfriend-girlfriend stage? I'll let you take that first, Lady K.
Ask me one more time, Mona. Is marriage
how you guys envisioned it would be when you were dating your partners during the boyfriend-girlfriend stage? So is it how we thought it would be when we were dating? Girl, no.
I would say for me, the love and the respect that was in the boyfriend girlfriend stage. Because like I said, when I set morals and standards in my boyfriend girlfriend stage, because my husband, believe it or not, he was just Romeo, and he just felt like he just can, honey, have anything he wanted, because he just King Jocko Joe or whatever And I came along and said, baby, that ain't it. I don't know who let you got in their underwears early, baby, but you ain't getting up in these panties, baby, boo. And and he's like, what the heck, girl? I get what I want when I want it. Who are you to tell me? And so he had to work extra hard. He did get independence, but with a little bit of hard work. But I challenged him on something that he was used to. But no, it was not. I mean, marriage is a lot of work. But anything worth having is worth working for. And if that's thing that is a gold or moral, and it is the order of our faith. Um, I believe that you can have it, and you can have a healthy marriage by setting
Yes.
healthy relationships and setting healthy boundaries, as we spoke of earlier.
And I think it's important too during the boyfriend girlfriend stage, and I don't believe this is talked about a lot, that you specifically speak about what it is that you desire for marriage. If you desire marriage, if you desire motherhood, what do you want that to look like? Because you may not have the full totality of what it can look like, but you have an idea of, even if you don't know what you want, you have an idea of what you don't want. So
Yes.
you can at least say, this is what I don't want, and we can figure out what it looks like for us along the way. But sometimes we don't do that. We're all googly eyed, we're excited, we're in love, we have butterflies and all this other stuff.
Still do,
When you're
Mona.
dating, you may get into one or two arguments and stuff like that. When you get married, you're like, you're coming, you're still here.
I'll tell you, motherhood and marriage is not for the faint. But listen, you can't get in this stuff thinking, "Oh, I can just get out of it." It's for better
Absolutely.
first. If you ain't being cheated on a beat, you got to hang in there. You got some obstacles to get through. You got some hurdles to jump, and you have
Yep.
to put in the work. I mean, it is what it is. But one of the best things about being married is at the end of the night, I get to put my head on my husband's chest, baby. It's my favorite place in the world to be. I can hear his heartbeat beating through my eardrums. It's like music. And we've been married so long, and my heart still skip a beat. I still get butterflies when he walk in the room with that sexy Denzel Washington walk. I absolutely love him. Do he get on my nerves? Heck yes. Work them to the core, make me cringe. But at the end of the day, I know I got somebody I can count on and who will be there for me. And I absolutely love it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think that's the beauty about it. It's knowing that there are things that you have to go through, but at the end of the day, it's sharp. It's like it's sharpening, right? It's the iron sharpens iron. It's two of you sharpening each other. You're sharpening your skills. You're sharpening, how you relate to each other. You're learning more about each other. You're understanding more about, both of you are, because you're growing. You're still growing as a person, especially as a mom. You're still growing, and both of them teach you about yourself. I think marriage and motherhood are the two things that have taught me so much about myself. Even
Yes.
things that I didn't know, things that I desire, things that I wanted. How do I want to show up as a person in marriage? How do I want to show up as a person in motherhood? How do I want to show up as a wife? And how do I want to show up as a mother? And those two are, they're two different things, right? Because I can probably show up as a wife and not show up as myself in marriage. And so those two things, if anything is going to stretch you, if anything is going to challenge you, those two things will. And I always encourage people to make sure that, you're stepping aside and you're always taking a look at, okay, well, where it is that I am growing. Because as you mentioned earlier, we're always changing. Like the same person you marry today is certainly not going to be the same person you marry tomorrow. Not at all. And that's the same thing for you as well. You change. So what conversations are you having with yourself as things are changing, right? As even if you change jobs, the roles and responsibilities are changed. When seasons change, your roles and responsibilities change, because there's some seasons where you are there more for your husband. You're there more for your kids, when they get, nobody told me, I'll say this, nobody told me specifically about boys. They always talk about girls, going through their phase. Everybody talks about the boys that they go through their own phase. Honey.
Yes, honey. Yes, they do.
They don't tell you about those things, right? But how do you navigate that as yourself? Because there are times where, I certainly love my son, but I know that the season that he's in, I need to step away from my own, from my peace and my sanity, because we're just not there.
Right.
We're just not there. And I need to make sure that I still maintain myself, but I also maintain a space where I am mom. And so I think that's why it's so important for us to always be checking in with ourselves periodically as we see things changing, so that we're not caught off guard when those seasons come. We're like, we're jolted. We don't know what to do.
Right.
So that was great. Thank you so much.
You just want to acknowledge his feelings. You want to acknowledge that the feelings that he's feeling are real, and you want to acknowledge,
Mhm.
to let him know that his feelings are important to you. And although they are
Yes.
shocking to us because we are mom, we just want to let them know that they matter, and just, honey,
Yes.
you got to pray for me as
Just the same.
because
Because they need the same type of encouragement as well too. That
yes,
the words of affirmation and those type of things, they need it
yes,
just I would say even more than we as women do,
yes,
because they don't always have the opportunities. I'd say for men in their space. I'm not a man, but from what I've seen,
yes,
there's not necessarily that camaraderie or that accountability on the same emotional level that women receive.
yes,
And so they need to hear that they're doing well. They need to
yes.
hear that boys
They're
and men
proud of.
alike. So yes,
Yep, young people are people too. We have to, and young men are people too. And we have to
yes,
acknowledge, sometimes, people, we say be strong, be a provider, but that's sometimes, like you said, that me time, you need to go in his me closet. I don't want to be strong right now. Give me 5 minutes.
right,
Let me go in this cry a little bit, but I'll be out in a minute.
right,
I'll be out.
exactly. And that's the same for women too. I think sometimes I'm like,
Yes,
I do some things solely because it just makes sense. But listen, sometimes I don't want to pay the bills on time. I don't want to. I don't want to. But I know I have to. I don't want to go to work.
I can't
I
pay
want
that
to be
late
off
fee,
for a
Mom.
week.
I can't pay that late fee.
Exactly. That's the reason why I show up and show up on. And that's why I show up. But if you've been in a situation, I would say for myself, where you show up all the time, or you're the strong one and all that sort of stuff, it gets tiring, and sometimes you just don't want to. You
Yes.
just don't feel like it,
See, I
because
love
you're
how
just tired, you're overwhelmed.
that's okay. Like you just said that, and my heart just wanted to hug you. It's like, I don't want to be strong today. I don't want to be
Hmm.
strong with that today. So I feel like I'm not judging you. I just want to reach out and give you a hug, because I can say, my sister, you don't have to be. Come here, let me hug you for 5 minutes. These 5 minutes,
Right.
cry, do whatever you want, fall out, have a tantrum. I'm gonna sit and hold you until you feel better. So how you just said that just made my heart leap. Like, feel your feelings. People, we try to hide, and we send our imposter. My husband like to say, we send our imposter. The person
Mm.
is just got the mask on. We're not showing up as our real selves. And that way, when we're not being that person, we've sent our imposter. We've sent our imposter, and when we're not being that person, now we're shamed. We're
Hmm.
overwhelmed. We're just we just won't show up as our real selves. You have to show up. That's why I say it's who you are from the beginning. That relationship with Christ, and who is overflowing out unto others. But when, like I said, when you try to put all these different people into these different compartments, and then we just become overwhelmed and we fall apart.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know we are right at time. So I
Yes.
want to just give you the opportunity, Lady K, to share with people one or two things that you would like for them to walk away with. What is something that, because we said a lot on the live today, but what are some key nuggets, one or two that you would like for women to walk away with today from your wealth of experience and wealth of knowledge
I'm
on
not.
how they can choose themselves in marriage and motherhood?
Yes. First of all, show up as the real you. We've talked about that a little bit today. I am so proud of Mona and her
Oh,
I
thank you.
Am movement. That is going to be amazing, and I am a
Thank
part
you.
of that march, because the Bible tells us that, love your neighbor as yourself. And I think for so long we focus on loving the neighbor and not ourselves.
Hmm.
Just how much more would this world, how much better would this world be if we loved ourselves really? If you truly
Hmm.
love yourself, if you truly chose yourself, and like I said, became whole in God, and then let that overflow flow out to others, what a better world this would be. Sometimes we just focus so much on, loving the neighbor part, but it says first love yourself. Love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
As we're doing that on this next journey, I find out that we're gonna walk taller, we're gonna stand with our shoulders out, we're gonna stand stronger as we continue to walk in this I am choosing me movement. Thank you so much, Mona.
That's Thank you. Thank you so much. And I loved it. I love this conversation. And I love that that's the last thing, that we show up as real humans, that we're not putting on a facade, that
Yeah,
when we are hurting or when we feel some kind of way, that we find somebody. Even if you don't have a community, find a therapist, find a coach, find someone that can help you.
and it's
Therapy,
okay. It's okay.
therapy.
It's okay.
I'm a big proponent for therapy, therapy, Jesus and therapy. But I think it's important for us to show up. But in order for us to show up as our humans and as our real selves, we have to do some work as well. So I would say my last point is I encourage women to ensure that they're doing the work. I always say that the hard work is the hard work, but it's the necessary work. And we all have different experiences, we all go through things, and you may not necessarily have to go to therapy, but if you do, definitely encourage you to do so. But take inventory of where you are in your life. What are your needs? What are your desires? What are some things that God has given you that you may be putting on the back burner, that you've been leaving for the longest time, that you have not started? What can you do with the time that you have, with the resources that God has given you, so that you are choosing yourself? We are able to choose ourselves because God chose us first. He's already done the choosing part, right? That part is already finished, but it's now up to us to finish and to finish strong. So, Lady K, I thank you so much.
You're
Shout out to the
welcome.
cameraman and the light
Thank
crew.
y'all so much for joining us, family. All my family on here. I just thank you all for listening to us and taking that moment to just encourage us and ask questions on the day. Thank you all so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you. I love you all very much. I thank you all for your support. And I just thank you for taking this time and sharing. I learned some things. I'm always, I think it's important for us to always be teachable and to be in a place where we're willing to learn. So I'm always willing to learn. And I'm so grateful to have you and Natron. I get to say Natron. And I have you and Natron in my corner that I can always call on. So thank you so much. Love you and thank you again.
Thank you. Be well.
Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.